What's up everybody, this is Mike. Welcome back to another video. I hope you're doing well. And today's video will be all about the Mavic Mini. The Mavic Mini is one of these drones that everyone keeps talking about. Everyone is crazy about the Mavic Mini. Everyone is requesting videos and tips and tutorials. So you ask, I deliver. In today's video, I'm going to share 5 tips for improving your general flying experience with the Mavic Mini. And keep in mind, these tips are mostly geared towards the beginners out there, the people who are extremely new to flying a drone. Maybe your Mavic Mini is your first ever drone. In that case, these 5 tips will be extremely beneficial for you. If you are a seasoned pilot, you probably already know this, so feel free to skip this video. But for everyone who just got their Mavic Mini, this video is for you. Let's check it out. Hold on. Before we get to the tips though, let me just quickly say something. If that's your first ever time on this channel, then let me just quickly introduce myself. My name is Mike and this is Drone Supremacy. I'm extremely passionate about drones, flying, cameras, all sorts of tech, and I really love making videos for you guys. So if you're passionate about any of these topics that I mentioned, feel free to hit that subscribe button and join our amazing community. With that being said, I'm going to leave you with tip number 1. The first thing which I would advise you to do is to check your return to home altitude. This setting is extremely important because when you hit the return to home button right here on the remote and you want your drone to come back to you, if this setting is not the correct value, you can hit something on the way back, as the drone doesn't have obstacle avoidance sensors. So to avoid that, you need to change it to something that is higher than any potential obstacles in your area. So to change your return to home altitude, you can tap on the top part of your screen where you have your notifications, and you can see the auto return to home altitude is currently set to 30 meters. If I decide that this is not enough, I can always change it to, let's say, 50 meters. Normally I keep it about 50 meters or above 40 at least, so I can avoid any potential obstacles in the way, trees, power lines, anything that the drone might crash into. And there's one more way to change that setting. From these 3 little dots here in the upper right corner, you can just press on that, and the tab which says safety, you can scroll down a bit and you see the auto return home altitude setting is also visible right here, so you can change it from here as well. The next tip which I have for you is to use the lock exposure feature of the Mavic Mini. Many people have been really disappointed by the lack of manual camera controls for the Mavic Mini, which means that you need to rely on the automatic exposure which the camera sets for you. But that's not really the case, because even though you don't have manual controls for the camera, you do have manual exposure value settings which you can tweak. To do that, simply click on the EV button which you can see in the lower right corner of the DJI Fly application, and you can tweak the exposure value by yourself. In many situations, the DJI Mavic Mini tends to overexpose your footage, which really makes it not that appealing because everything seems blown out and too white, too bright. So I would advise you to always underexpose your footage by 0.7, even by a full stop. And the key here is, after exposing your shot, hit that lock button to lock the exposure. That way it's not going to change automatically, which is something that will happen if you use the automatic exposure. So keep that in mind, frame your shot and expose it properly so the main object which you're interested in your shot is properly exposed. Then hit that lock button and everything is good to go. And for your next shot, you need to repeat the same procedure. Something else which many beginners have problems with is recording smooth footage. And the key to recording smooth footage is by moving the gimbal very smoothly and slowly. You don't want any jerky motion, you don't want any sharp turns or something like that. So a way to do that is by adjusting the gimbal rotation with your finger. So if you press on the screen and you slide down or up, you can move the gimbal with your finger. This is a good option, but I don't really recommend you to do that because it will take away from your flying experience and you will just use one of your hands for just rotating the gimbal wheel, on the screen, which is not ideal. A way to do that is to use the gimbal wheel here on the back of the remote, but you need to set your gimbal smoothness to a good level, so when you move the gimbal with the gimbal wheel, it moves slowly and smoothly. So a way to do that is by clicking on those three little dots. You go to Control, you see the gimbal setting here, and you press Advanced, and here you have pitch speed, pitch smoothness, and one more setting that we will mention in just a few seconds. So pitch speed is how quickly your gimbal is going to move up and down, and I set mine to 15 because I don't want to make it too quick. And pitch smoothness is how smoothly the gimbal is going to make that movement. So the smoothness, I have set mine to 10, and if I set it to something higher, you will see that even after I stop moving, the gimbal continues to go down. So it's very, very smooth. But I personally like to have a bit more control because this is too smooth for me now. So I will keep mine to 10, which it was before. And make sure to allow upward gimbal rotation. This is going to give you more movement in the upper portion of your screen. So you see this is the normal position of the gimbal, the maximum upper position of the gimbal, and when you enable that setting, you have a bit more motion in the upper area. So that gives you more freedom to make some revealing shots and shots that require more movement in the upper part of your screen. So that setting is definitely quite useful to be turned on. Something else which I see people not taking full advantage of is not using the different flying modes which you have on the Mavic Mini. So you have the normal flying mode, which is the P mode, you have sport mode, and you have cinematic or cinesmooth mode. Normal mode is fine for your regular shots, but honestly, when I'm trying to capture cinematic footage, which is pretty much all the time, I am always switching to cinesmooth mode, which is going to slow down the reaction time of the sticks, is going to make your drone a bit slower, but in return you're getting a lot smoother movements from your drone and of course much better looking shots. On the other side, if you're looking for something more fast-paced, something that is going to give the sense of speed, then switch to sport mode, because sport mode is going to make the drone of course a lot faster, and it's going to allow you to cover more distance quickly. So I personally love using sport mode when I'm a bit higher in the sky. That way the drone is not too slow and I can quickly get from one point to another, and the shots are not too boring, because if you go with the regular speed, then the shot is, you know, taking a lot more time to get from one place to another, and it's a bit more boring to watch. One thing you need to know though is that when you switch to sport mode, you're going to get exactly the opposite thing of cinesmooth mode. Remember, cinesmooth is going to slow down the reaction time of the sticks, and sport mode is going to increase the reaction time of the sticks. So every little movement that you make with the sticks is going to be very noticeable on your screen and also in your footage. So if you're looking to get smooth footage, then maybe sport mode is not the way to go. But if you just want to cover a large distance very quickly, then of course it's a great thing to use. And finally, I want to show you how you can easily find your drone in case something bad happens, you crash, you don't know where your drone is and you want to locate it. Simply press on the maps in the lower left corner on the DJI Fly application, then tap once again and press Find My Drone. When you do that, you have the option to have the coordinates or to use other maps, or you can press the start flashing and beeping button, and when you do that you will see and hear the beeping of the drone, and this is how it looks like. It starts flashing and beeping, and it's quite an annoying sound, but you will be able to locate your drone very quickly, especially if you're in an area which is a bit quiet. Then that noise will definitely make you aware where the exact location of the drone is. And that's it. Those 5 tips, if used correctly, are going to make your life a whole lot easier and your footage a whole lot better. So I hope you found these tips interesting, useful, and you're going to incorporate them in your own flights with the Mavic Mini. Let me know if you have any questions, concerns, anything you want to know about the Mavic Mini, and I'll be sure to reply in the comment section below. Don't forget to drop a like on this video and subscribe for many more videos like this one in the future. This is Mike from Drone Supremacy. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Ciao!